First, our Devin Dwyer, who covers the courts for us, leads us off with more on that major ruling for the environment.
Despite growing dangers from climate change, tonight the U.S. Supreme Court curbing the government's power to fight it. In a 6-3 decision, the court's conservative majority limiting the Environmental Protection Agency in how it regulates power plant emissions under the Clean Air Act.
Certainly, the court's decision today makes it harder for EPA to address climate change and the pollution that causes it.
Chief Justice John Roberts writing that only Congress, not an unelected agency, can set policies to transform an entire industry. A nationwide transition away from the use of coal may be sensible, he writes, but it is not plausible that Congress gave EPA the authority to order such a change.
It is a big deal that EPA can no longer rely on that most cost-effective and cost-efficient way to reduce emissions.
In dissent, Justice Elena Kagan accusing the court of stripping the EPA of power to address the most pressing environmental challenge of our time, writing the court does not have a clue about how to address climate change, and of the decision to prevent EPA experts from setting the policy, I cannot think of many things more frightening, she writes. The Supreme Court has twice ruled that EPA can regulate greenhouse gases, but environmental advocates say today's decision will handcuff its ability to blunt the impacts of global warming.
The Supreme Court today, they took one tool out of EPA's toolbox to regulate greenhouse gas emissions from the country's power fleet.
The decision is a major victory for coal companies and Republican-led states like West Virginia, whose leaders fought to defend the fossil fuel industry against what they call government overreach. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey led the group of 18 states suing the EPA.
I think it's a tremendous victory for the rule of law, for the American people, for those folks who care about the separation of powers in our country. A lot of people are going to try to make this into an issue about climate change. This is about ensuring that Congress, not unelected bureaucrats, get to make the major decisions of the day.
The U.S. power sector is the nation's second largest source of CO2 emissions, but also the source of 1.7 million jobs.
So how much has coal been a part of your life and your family?
Oh, it's pretty much everybody's, West Virginia period is pretty much in everybody's life.
At the John Amos power plant in West Virginia, we got rare access to see how coal is burned to power millions of homes and businesses, but also producing carbon dioxide, a major driver of climate change.
This is where the coal is actually burned, ignited through these burners into the boilers, creating 3,000 degree heat, sending ash and greenhouse gases through the pipes.
Last year, the plant released 10.8 million tons of CO2, or the equivalent of more than 2 million cars driven for a year. The plant has been emitting earth-warming gases since the early 1970s.
EPA regulations forced coal-fired power plants to install what are called scrubbers, these contraptions at the bottoms of the stacks to remove sulfur dioxide from the exhaust. What they don't remove is carbon dioxide.
The EPA will soon release new regulations aimed at capping those gases. Today, saying in a statement, while deeply disappointed in the court's decision, it is committed to using the full scope of EPA's authorities to protect communities and reduce the pollution that is driving climate change. But no longer in its toolkit for setting standards, so-called generation shifting, wind and solar. Chief Justice Roberts writing, a decision of such magnitude and consequence rests with Congress itself.
What's the impact going to be here?
The impact here is going to be increased mining, increased pollution. We can't continue to risk everything for energy. Coal keeps the lights on, they say, but at what cost?
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.